Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, welcome to another market open stream. Today, we got a lot more to talk about, just like every other day. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Let's talk about some macro news. Let's talk about where Bitcoin's next big leap is going to, when's it going to come, and where the target zone is. And let's talk about other stuff too. All right, let's do it, guys. Welcome. Good morning, all. Those of you guys in the US, if you're elsewhere, it's probably not morning. We are a little bit lower right now than yesterday. Just slightly, okay? Nothing to be panicked over. 102.6, 102.7, you know, ever since we got up here, 104.5, or let's just say 105 has been a tough cookie to crack. But it's just a matter of time. All right, whenever we have these these levels that seem to be very hard to crack, you know what? We eventually do. Just need a little push, a little more ETF inflow, a little more of this or that, some kind of good macro stuff that comes out, just a little push, and we'll be right back to our previous high, and then we are ready for that big leap. It's always like that. Every single time when it seems like we can't possibly go any higher, that's when it's time. Yep, it's around the corner. Right now, today is a little bit red. Yesterday, I don't know. Yesterday was like a sort of a profit-taking day, although yesterday wasn't bad at all. Today, maybe a little bit more. Let's see. Coinbase is down, but there is a hack involved with Coinbase, so that may be why. Others are down slightly. All right, and also this. Look at this. Powell cautions about higher long-term rates as supply shocks provide policy changes. Here's the thing. It looks like he is not going to cut rates anytime soon, right? Because right now the economy is not bad. The economy is not bad. He's not in a rush to cut, especially if prices and inflation are going to go up. We've had a couple of good months where inflation numbers are reading pre-tariff numbers. That is going to be no longer the case soon moving forward. Even Walmart says so. Walmart says price hikes from the tariffs could start later this month. So we haven't really seen the effects of it yet. But we will, despite having this trade ceasefire with China, there is still a baseline of 30% tariff. So things coming in are still being tariffed 30%. Okay, it's not 0%. So we will see effect of this. Even Walmart is saying we will see price hikes start as soon as this month. So that means starting for next month when we measure CPI and PPI, PCE, all the numbers that we look at, they will start going upwards. This is why Powell is not in a rush to cut rates. But, you know, as long as markets are recovering, rallying back, you know, that's okay. That means we could just wait a little bit longer, right? And this is related. Trump says he doesn't like Tim Cook building a lot of iPhones in India, even though Trump does want everyone to, you know, bring manufacturing back to the U.S. and Apple has committed a $500 billion, you know, manufacturing plant. It's not like you could just spin it up right away. And even if you did spin up right away, it doesn't mean that you can start producing the entire iPhone or entire Apple supply chain of stuff from one manufacturing plant, right? So it's unreasonable to expect everything to be produced in the US right away. But Trump says he doesn't like it. He doesn't like it one bit. So there may be more stuff coming out of that. We'll see. All right. Not a whole lot more to macro stuff, but you know, still a little shaky. Although we had a really good start of the week. Last few days, a little bit more. I mean, stalled a little bit because of profit taking, but overall not too bad. And what's not too bad is the ETF inflows started back up again. Yesterday, massive inflow from BlackRock and everyone else. 319 million inflow. So as long as the ETFs are taking in hundreds of millions of dollars of Bitcoin, okay, we know things are going to happen because there's only so much to go around. And it might not trigger an immediate price jump, okay? But overall, we know supply is being removed from circulation, exchange reserves are going down, and demand globally, on a global scale, is going up. So it's all adding up, okay? This is the reason why Bitcoin is where it is and why it's going to go higher. But it's, you know, BlackRock, I told you guys, you got to watch out for BlackRock. It's not like it's a really good thing that they're acquiring so much. They want world domination and everything they get into. But, you know, short term for us long-term holders, it's good because everyone else is eating up the supply. But, yeah, they're eating up a lot of the supply, a lot of supply. But outside of ETFs, we got other good news. Ukraine, a lot of people don't know this. Ukraine has 40,000 Bitcoin. 40,000, okay? Through donations, through whatever, but they have 40,000 Bitcoin. The good thing is they haven't sold any of it. And it seems like they want to keep it too. So with the help of Binance, they may be creating a national reserve. I don't know why the IMF would be part of this. The IMF does not like Bitcoin at all, but whatever. So if Ukraine adopts a national reserve, puts the 40,000 Bitcoin in there, and makes sure that it's never sold, just like the US, that's great. That's great. And hopefully other countries that also hold Bitcoin for whatever reason, if it was confiscated or whatever, also gets held. You know, unlike Germany. Germany had 30,000 Bitcoin, and then they were forced to sell it due to some archaic law. You know, we don't want to see that. We want to see these countries hold their Bitcoin. Yeah, so that's good. This is also good. I'm not going to try to pronounce that, but there is a large restaurant group in the Middle East that has established a Bitcoin treasury. This is also good. Again, I talk a lot about strategy and MetaPlanet and some of these other guys regularly because they keep on, you know, they keep on issuing debt to buy more Bitcoin. But it's not just them. We get more and more companies getting involved every single week, it seems like. And these guys, when they come in, they buy hundreds of millions right away. Again, it all adds up. It may not add to immediate price jump, but it all adds up. This is why Bitcoin is scarce. Here's a Here's the investor, Jim Chanos. Chanos. Bets on Bitcoin, but shorts MicroStrategy. Interesting. People that have short a MicroStrategy have done really poorly. You don't really want to short MicroStrategy, but this guy is. But basically, he's saying, I have nothing against Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin, but I don't like companies that are riding the Bitcoin bandwagon and seeing tremendous gains. That's what he's saying. He may be regretting that decision, shorting MicroStrategy. Others have tried. That Financial Times person said she tried, and she failed miserably. So shorting MicroStrategy historically hasn't been a wise move, but maybe he knows something we don't. But nevertheless, no one wants to short Bitcoin. No one wants to bet against Bitcoin. Billionaires around the world also. Like I talk about billionaires all the time. One of the richest men on earth from Mexico, Ricardo, I don't know if I forgot his last name. But he has like 70% of his portfolio in Bitcoin. I know the CEO of Standard Chartered, he says he has most of his portfolio in Bitcoin. And you got all these other people now, Asian billionaires, that have a ton of Bitcoin too. In fact, they're selling off their USD right now because of all the turmoil with the tariffs and stuff. And guess what? They're buying Bitcoin with it too. This is exactly why Bitcoin was actually created. Because of distrust in banks, distrust in governments, distrust in fiat. It was created as alternative gold. And we're actually really starting to see it play out. We actually see billionaires actually embrace Bitcoin. And that's really hard. These guys are really trying to protect their wealth. At this stage in their career, they're not trying, well, I shouldn't say, some are probably trying to still make more money and trying to become trillionaires. But at this stage in most of these guys, they're trying to protect their wealth. That's why a lot of them buy assets like real estate or gold or whatever, right? But for them to embrace Bitcoin, that shows you a lot, how much they trust it and how far Bitcoin has come. It's really a crazy, amazing thing. You just don't see this in prior cycles. You just don't see this. It's completely new. All these things, a lot of things I'm talking about, seems like it's been forever. It's only like within the last few years. Even in a 2021 cycle, we didn't hear about these things. It's all new. That's the crazy thing. We're starting this new path, and hopefully you guys are recognizing it. Bitcoin is on a totally different trajectory starting from here on out. And the landscape is going to be totally different. It really is. All right. A few other things. Coinbase's John Agostino, D'Agostino, says Bitcoin ETFs drives record inflows. Miner can't keep up. Well, that's obvious. Okay. There's only so much being produced, which is very little. Very little. It's like 450 per day or something like that. Okay. You got all the major corporate players and small corporations and countries and states and billionaires and long-term holders and even miners themselves are buying. Again, the scarcity factor, it's important. Important. And I said this last night. This is also important. All Bitcoin holders are in profit, or at least even. Think about that. Think about that. All the depressed people in the space are non-Bitcoin holders. That's basically what it comes down to. If you are holding Bitcoin, you can't be depressed because you are in profit or at least even. But if you are holding a ton of alts, yeah, I could see how you're still not feeling it. You're not feeling all the gains yet. But, you know, it'll come. It'll come. Even if you bought at 109, if you DCA'd, you should be at even now. And those that DCA'd, even just slightly, when we went down to 70, 80, 90, we held there for a long time. Even if you DCA a little bit, you would be, your cost average would be below where we are, I believe. Yeah. All right, last few things. According to this, the funding rates on exchanges are still quite low. This means several things. Usually when the funding rates gets really hot, means that we are coming to a peak. Okay, either a top or a local peak. This happens all the time. For example, when we had a huge, tremendous jump from September to March, September 23 to March of 24, when we jumped up from like 30K to 73K, look at the funding rate. Everyone was going crazy with their leverage, right? And then we hit a top. Same thing. When we went up from our, 50K to 110K, the funding rates were hot, really hot. Not as hot as before, but still. A lot of people were making money left and right, leveraging everything, right? But look at where we are now. We recover back up. Well, you can't really see with the camera. We recover back up and look at the funding rate. It's like non-existent. So this is telling us a couple things. Number one, we're not in that parabolic phase. We're nowhere close to that next top yet. Okay, so that's a beautiful thing. That's number one. Maybe when we approach like 200,000, we're going to see the funding rates skyrocket like the other two times. So that's good. And the second thing is right now we are recovering back up basically just due to spot buying, like Miles says. Just due to good old spot buying, long-term buying, DCA. And that is awesome. That is quite okay. Again, it adds up. It adds up. All right. Now, the next breakout point, the target zone, there are some that, there are some that are saying once we break 109, 110, the next zone is around 120. But there are some that say it's more like 140. So I'm just going to say the zone is between 120 and 140. All right. But regardless, that's just the next zone. If you look at the stair-step manner that Bitcoin is moving right now in this cycle, it looks very similar to prior cycles. Even though we have very different scenarios going on right now. Obviously, I've mentioned macro scenario is very different. The maturity, the embracing of Bitcoin with the institutions and even countries and so forth, obviously very different. But Bitcoin's price movement is very similar, even though it's like 100 times higher. It really is, or it's even over 100 times higher than prior cycles. But the movement is always the same. There's a stair-step manner in which Bitcoin moves. And if you zoom in, even a prior cycle, you'll see that, hey, we had some nasty drops before. Way more volatile than what we're seeing now. But we had plenty of them. But when you zoom out, you just don't really pay attention. All you pay attention to is the huge rise up. But if you zoom in, you'll see plenty of 30, 40% drops. and a hell of a lot of 10, 15, 20% drops. Just like what we're seeing. But we're seeing a lot less of that, obviously, because, you know, everything's much bigger now. So, again, those of you guys that are new or growing impatient, know that this is normal. This is just how it is. Bitcoin doesn't just like reach a top within 6 months. You don't want that to happen anyways. That's why we call it a 4-year cycle, right? The last year and a half is the parabolic phase, and it takes a year and a half. We are above 100,000. This is a level we only dreamt of a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, right? And we're not done. We are heading higher, but you just have to give it time. Just like prior cycles, you had to give it time too. We kept going in these stair-step, you know, these stair-step movements. And it's going to be the same thing this time around too. Once we break through our current high, the next stop, you know, 120, 140. Actually, this one is projecting our next stop is 150. And then after that, the next stop is projecting 260. And if we have even a greater blow off top than that, you know, maybe we get 500,000. That's what CZ says. CZ says 500,000 by the end of this cycle. Yep. All right. Last few things. Coinbase. Coinbase may face a $400 million fallout, which is no good. Some of its employees overseas were bribed by hackers. So a lot of confidential information about clients were sold to hackers. And Coinbase received a ransom note of $20 million saying that pay up or we are going to release these, you know, these clients' information. Coinbase fired those employees. And then, you know what, rather than comply, Coinbase is launching a $20 million bounty to catch the hackers. However, Coinbase warns that, you know, they may be facing a $400 million, I don't know, well, anywhere between $180 to $400 million for remediation, reimbursements, and all this stuff, and maybe fines and all that stuff. So it's going to cost them probably a whole lot of money, right? A lot more than the $20 million. But not to say there's no, you know, no private keys, no crypto has been, you know, removed or stolen or anything. It's just like emails, names, KYC information, stuff like that, which is still important. Anyways, so a couple things. Number one, no crypto has been stolen, which is good. Number two is this still shows you the vulnerability of centralized exchanges. Okay, this shows you why self-custody is still important, because you just never know, right? You never know. Even someone like Coinbase, with all their security safeguards, you would figure they have the best safeguards in the world because they are probably one of the biggest, if not one of the biggest, exchanges on the planet. And they're highly regulated, especially being in the US, right? But still, you know, there's ways that hackers can get in. So self-custody is still very important. A lot of you guys, most of you guys I know, have 100% of your crypto on an exchange, and you have no idea how to use a wallet. You have never downloaded a wallet. You have never sent a crypto anywhere besides maybe cashing out. I urge you to go download a wallet and at least get familiar with it. At least try it. You could download a wallet absolutely free in seconds and play around with it and get familiar with it, right? And after you do, learn how to safeguard your private keys, learn how to send and receive crypto, and then you'll be on your way. Then you can safeguard your own crypto. But yeah, you just never know. You never know. In this case, it was great that they didn't lose any crypto. But a lot of times what happens is there's a lot of phishing attacks that happen afterwards. This has happened with many companies. So what the hackers will do is, now that they have all this information, they will target the people that they have the information of. They'll like email them or call them and say, oh, we're from Coinbase. We need you to verify information, right? And then they get people, they fool people into giving them their login information and stuff like that. And that's when it does lead to stolen crypto. Coinbase and others will never call you. And normally speaking, they will never email you too. They may email you to warn you of this, but still, they'll never email you normally asking you to provide your credentials or anything like that. So if you ever receive any email from any company in the crypto space asking you to verify your email or to change your password or verify your password or verify your seed phrase or anything like that, do not do it. It is fake. No matter how real the email looks, no crypto company ever will ask you to verify or change your password, especially with a given link. Because when you click that link, it's go to some hacker's page, and when you try to enter your password, boom, it's over. They have it, and your cryptos go be hacked. So don't do it. Don't do it. All right, that's pretty much it. Yeah, today's little profit taking. That's kind of to be expected. I actually thought it would happen yesterday, but you know what? It's happening today. Coinbase is selling off today. Not just them. They're actually selling off the same as others. Robinhood is selling off. Apple, Nvidia, MicroStrategy all selling off. Today's just a profit-taking day. And we will see what happens tomorrow too. But this is also on people's minds. We're not going to get a rate cut anytime soon. All right. Let's do some Q&A. All right, scrolling through. Am I taking profits right now? No, I'm not taking profits. I don't believe we're anywhere near highs or the top, I should say. So no, I'm not. Am I into turbo? No, I am not. Wallet recommendations. If you're getting started, okay, download the free wallets. You don't have to purchase hardware wallets just yet. Go download a nice wallet, okay? Trust Wallet. I like it a lot. You could, even Coinbase customers, you have Coinbase Wallet. It's a separate wallet. It's called Coinbase Wallet. It has a really nice integration where you could just transfer from Coinbase, but you could use it as a standalone wallet too. That's another one. And even popular wallets like MetaMask, Phantom, Rabby, they all have mobile wallets too. You can download them all for free. They're all great wallets. They all work exactly the same way. As soon as you download it, it asks you to create a new wallet or restore a wallet. If it's your first wallet, you always create a new wallet. It'll ask you for a password, and it's going to ask you to store the recovery phrase. That is the most important part. It's going to ask you to write it down or put it somewhere. Wherever you put it, do not lose it. Do not put it in the cloud storage. Do not put it somewhere where someone can easily access it. Right? And then that's it. Then start playing around. Do I think the 4-year cycle is over? Why would I think the 4-year cycle is over, man? We're at over $100,000. Why would I think the 4-year cycle is over? T-Rev, instead of selling may go away, it is now buying may stay in play. I've said that before, like, you know, I don't buy all the phenomenons. Well, normally speaking, selling may go away makes sense because it's the summer and, you know, it gets boring, and I get why, but you gotta read the landscape, right? We just had 3-4 months of pretty tremendous sell-offs, right? And we're recovering back up. There's no reason to think that May we're going to sell off more. So something that's happened before doesn't mean that it's going to happen again. Karthik is asking, what are 3 coins you're most bullish on? Well, that exactly is the question I answered with my last night's video, which you should go watch. Actually, last night's video didn't do so well. It seems like a lot of people don't care about alts, care more about Bitcoin, which is fine. But it's weird because in Q&A, no one asks about Bitcoin. In Q&A, people only ask about alts. But when I make a video that's focused on alts, it does worse. So I'm like, where's the logic in that? Playoff Jimmy didn't show up last night. I mean, the Playoff Jimmy is a hoax. He can't carry a team. He never could. And, you know, without Steph, there was no way they were going to win that series. Dizzy, with that answer, with that, you know, you're just going to get banned. If you're so lazy that you don't watch my last video, which answers that exact question, you don't deserve to be here. And I don't care for you to be here. Jason, do you think, George, that with the companies, ETF, and retail, do you think the bear market will be different, or we'll see sideways movement? More of the same. Not like sideways movement, big dips, but not like an 80% dip like in previous cycles. I think we'll see like what we've been seeing the last few years. We could see like 6 months of consolidation, 30% dips, maybe even bigger, 30-40% dips. But I don't think we go through the same crypto winters as before. Josh, thank you. Lazaro, I miss your lives at night. Yeah, I'm not gonna do lives at night until it gets interesting enough. What is the realistic market cap for Metis this cycle? That is something that no one has ever asked before. No one has ever asked about Metis. Although I'm pretty close with their CEO, Tom. Um, I don't know what. I don't even know what their top was. Close to $1 billion. No, 600 something. I at least I would say back to that. Back to that and probably a little bit higher. L2s, crowded space, very crowded space. But I know Metis is the most decentralized because of their validate. I don't know if they call it validators. I think it is validators. The most decentralized. They give back a lot of the revenue. So, but the L2 space is very, very, very crowded. Very crowded. I'm only grumpy because of the stupid people in the Q&A. The ones that are saying, well, if all these good things are happening, why is the price dumping? Or, oh, is the 4-year cycle over? Or, oh, I'm too lazy to watch your videos, so why don't you just answer me now? That's the reason why. Not because of price action. This is also the reason why I stopped doing lives at night, because, I can only bear so much. I don't think, yeah. Before I had this idea to like do live Q&A where I would allow people to like call in and I would answer on air. I don't think I can handle that. Every time I would think about that idea, I'm like, man, that's a bad idea. That's a bad idea. I wouldn't know how to control it. Is Exodus a good wallet? I have not used Exodus in a long time, a long, long time. But I figure if they're a publicly traded company now, they should be good. They have they have grown to the size where they can actually be traded publicly and worth hundreds of millions of dollars. They better be good. But back in the day, I did use them. Back in 2017, I didn't have a good experience. Um, so, but since then, they have changed vastly. So, different story. Lucky Sky. According to ChatGPT, sell and go away is only true 50% of the time. True and bear. You know, ChatGPT is awesome. Last night, I asked ChatGPT, take the top 10 indicators and apply to Bitcoin and tell me what you think is going to happen in the next like couple weeks. And I like applied all these indicators, and it gave all these reasons why it thinks it's going to do well. And then I asked it, why do you think it won't go? It's having a hard time bringing above 105. And then it gave all these reasons, but it was like, it's really good. Just like, you know, as an analyst, it could be a really good analyst if you want it to be. But I have the top version, so I could like ask it unlimited questions. But only if you believe in that sort of thing. You know, obviously macro landscape changes things all the time, but it can apply everything, you know, and it can put it all together for you. Take a Xanax before the call-in shows. I'm not going to do call-in shows no matter what. It's just not going to be a good idea. I'm not going to do it. I did think at one point in time the call-in shows would be more interactive. It would be more fun. But I can't. I don't think I can handle it. Carlos, appreciate that. Grok says 20% chance that 109 was the top cycle. Well, 20% chance. I'd say it's more like, if I was giving a percentage, I would say it's a 5% chance that 109 was cycle top. Probably less than 5% chance. I mean, the very fact that we hit 105 yesterday, we're only $4,000 away. There's like no chance that 109 is the cycle top when we're so close to it. So there's just no way. I don't think we'll get a rate cut in July anymore, unless the markets start really tanking. Inflation numbers are going to start going up, and if markets continue to do well, then we're not going to get a rate cut until September. There's a 36% chance in July, 50% chance in September. So I don't even think we're going to get one in July, to be honest. Everyone wants Powell to cut. You know, Powell only has one more year left of his tenure. I mean, he could just like give up and say, yeah, what the hell? I'll just do what everyone wants, right? But he has a legacy too. He doesn't want to be seen as the worst Fed chair in history. He doesn't want to be remembered for that. So his job is to save banks, first of all, and also to keep the economy going. But quite frankly, the U.S. economy isn't doing that bad. That's the thing. U.S. economy isn't doing that bad. Our unemployment numbers are not skyrocketing. You know, you look at all these like earnings from companies, they're doing fine. earnings from companies aren't showing that they're like losing a lot of customers or earnings. The problem is when inflation goes up, normally the Fed counters that by hiking the rates, not cutting rates. So he's in a really weird predicament because everyone wants him to cut. But starting next month, inflation is going to start going up because of the price hikes. So I don't know how he's going to start cutting. Could there be a black swan event? What could be the trigger? Tony, you know what? There could always be a black swan event. I don't know what the trigger would be. I mean, the obvious one is if there's like a world war, like nukes could start flying because of, let's say, India and Pakistan or something like that. All right, that could always happen. Knock on wood, that doesn't. Same thing with Ukraine and Russia. I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe China and Taiwan. War is always a possibility. Outside of war, I don't know what could be a black swan event. I can't think of anything for the remainder of this year that could be so bad. I mean, Trump is being reasonable. If Trump was like, wasn't coming to the table with all these tariff threats, wasn't trying to negotiate and was just saying my way or the highway, like for example with China is like, you just do what I want or the 245% tariff will stay forever. Like if it was like that, maybe that would have been leading us down to like a black swan event, but that's obviously not happening. Both sides are talking. The US is negotiating with all these countries. So, there's a plan. I don't know what a black swan event would be if there is going to be one. Oh, you know what? Oh, you know what? You know what? It could be a black swan event, but it'll never happen. But it could be a black swan event. Uh, MicroStrategy decides to sell their Bitcoin. If Saylor all of a sudden is like something happens, he's like, you know what? I regret my decision. I think the Bitcoin strategy is not working, and I'm gonna sell all my Bitcoin now. That would be a black swan event. That would actually trigger it. Yeah, that would be a huge black swan event. If he ever came out and said, I'm gonna start selling the Bitcoin from MicroStrategy, that would be it. That would be almost as bad as Satoshi selling his Bitcoin. Yeah. If Satoshi's wallet activates and starts selling, that would be the ultimate, black swan, but we'll still recover from that. But you could argue if MicroStrategy starts doing that, it may be even worse than Satoshi because you have so many other companies that's following strategy. And if they see strategy now doing that, they're all going to be thinking, well, are we doing something wrong? Are we not seeing something? And they may start selling off too. So strategy selling may be even worse than Satoshi selling at this point. But again, that's worst case scenario. I don't think that'll ever happen. I think Saylor would just, even if he dies, he's not going to sell. He just go keep it forever. Go carry it to the grave. Even with strategy. I bet he put something in place that even if someone else takes over, they're not allowed to sell the Bitcoin in their treasury. Something like that. I bet he's going to put that in place. All right, guys. So to conclude, a lot of great things happening. Do not be discouraged. Stay strong. Stay focused. Little profit taking here or there by Wall Street does not change things. Okay? So, smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow as usual, and tonight I'll put out a video for you guys. All right? Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.